So Patterson Township was incorporated as a borough in the 1840s. As we drive on Darlington Road, we see that this is one of the main hubs into Pittsburgh for cattlemen of the early part of this county who would steer their cows and horses and lead them to the slaughterhouses in Pittsburgh. What an exciting time it must have been to see all those, as I would call them, Beaver County cowboys actually traveling this very road that I'm on right now to have all their cattle taken up so that they could cash in on their kills. Patterson Township was settled by a man by the name of James Patterson, who purchased a lot of land out here. Originally, this community was inhabited by Quakers. Consequently, there are a lot of churches here that they're not Quaker churches, but churches had been established in this area sometime after James Patterson's passing, so that it could be remembered that he purchased a lot of land out here, which would eventually become the community that is now. After he passed, his heirs that inherited his lands and grants would eventually, as you can see, lay out a lot of the churches and the buildings and the properties as a result of their inheritance. And there's a nice Veterans Memorial there for Patterson Township veterans. And as I said, this land was originally settled by Quakers, who played a significant role in the early development of this town as well, with their religious beliefs and faith. This would become, after the Quakers, there's the school, a place of faith and worship, as it still is. The biggest part of this town, though, consequently, which most people know about, is the Patterson Heights Incline, which ran down to Beaver Falls. Many of the early settlers who worked here, well, not early settlers, let's say much later, when the industry that was taking place in Beaver Falls required a lot of people to come and work, it got attention. The people who lived here, there's the fire department, the people who lived here would travel with the incline down into Beaver Falls to work, because that's where their livelihood was. They lived up here, but their livelihood, a lot of them, in most cases, in a lot of cases, their livelihood was at Beaver Falls. So there's a lot of connection here with Beaver Falls, Chippewa, Darlington. And as now we're going into the Patterson Heights development, you will see, if I can show them to you, some of the gorgeous homes that are still inhabited by the folks in Patterson Heights. Just look at some of these homes. They're just absolutely astounding. Gorgeous places. Patterson Heights. Here it is. There's some very nice condo places here too, as you can see right there. And since we're on the subject of Patterson Heights, and since we're already in here, I'm going to show you something. We're going to take a ride into the Beagle Mansion here, which is now Franciscan Manor. I used to work here. But this was the Beagle Mansion originally. Beagles were a very prominent family in Beaver County. And this is an interesting place in itself. Look at that. You can just see how beautiful it is. After the Beagles passed away, the mansion was sold to the Catholic Church, a diocese of Pittsburgh. I don't know, I'm not certain which one it was. And it became a Franciscan monastery. After that, it developed into a nursing home, as you can see by the signs. And there's a, since it's Halloween time, I can tell you from working here that there's a lot of haunted activity in the Franciscan Manor. A lot of the folks that live there will tell you that the hallways are haunted by a little boy, and the little boy was Beagle. I don't remember his first name, but if you look at the Beagle Mansion, or the Beagle Mausoleum that's in the Beaver Cemetery, as soon as you get into the Beaver Cemetery, you will see right next to the mausoleum a building, and it says Beagle on, and that's where the Beagles are buried. And they did have a little boy that passed away. And that little boy is supposedly haunts these grounds. These very grounds right here. And A lot of the old folks that live there will tell you that they can hear a little boy crying at night. They can see him with the corner of their eye. He walks the hallways. He shuts lights on. He shuts them off. He makes sounds. So it's really creepy. And I can honestly say that when I used to work there, there was a couple of times where I felt that I was not alone. I used to work upstairs, and you used to work by yourself when you were upstairs. And I could feel the presence of somebody watching me all the time. And through the corner of my eye, I can almost say for certainty that I saw through the corner of my eye, which that looked like a little boy standing in a corner of the hallway down on the far end. But, you know, I think my imagination played a very prominent role in that once I was told that the place was haunted. So it was never the same for me after that. But as you can see, you know, Patterson is a really nice town. This is a lovely place to live. It's just really nice. Driving here on 6th Street is, you know, they even had their, Patterson had an airport here, and it was sold and later converted into a golf course, which I think it is still. Just look at that home there. A lot of lovely homes here. Surely. Great place. They used to have their own supermarket up here too. It's called Patterson Heights Super. No longer there. But I just love the homes. I love the architecture. Take a drive up here. So this was a hustle and bustle hub, if you will, for the early settlers of Beaver County, as I explained earlier, for them to go to Pittsburgh, actually even go to Cleveland too. Darlington Road was a major highway for the early settlers of Beaver County. It was the route to Cleveland, route to Pittsburgh, and to the other places of interest to the early settlers. And as you can see from these homes, it's just a marvelous place to live. Patterson does indeed have some of Beaver County's nicest homes. There's no question. And as a result of James Patterson acquiring so much land up here, he also acquired a lot of land down in Beaver Falls, which would later become the development of Beaver Falls, Patterson Heights, Patterson, and even parts of Falston down there at the bottom of the hill that I didn't go to. Perhaps I'll make a video of that later. But my focus today was Patterson Heights and Patterson Township. Give you a nice little tour of this pleasant part of Beaver County. Now, my only problem with this place is, as nice as it is, it's really not a place of business. They have one store up here for these residents. You know, they don't have a lot of places to go and get stuff. They have to come to Chippewa to shop, where all the businesses are, the Walmarts and the Home Depots and that sort of thing. But I suppose that's not a problem for them, or they wouldn't live here. Just look at these homes. Aren't they beautiful? Also point out that probably the major store here is the Circle K that we're going to pass in a moment. That is obviously a place of considerable interest to the residents here. At least it is a convenience store. Here's Ross Hill Auto Sales. Been there for a while, and of course their car wash has been here for some time too. They have that up here. As the fire department. Patterson Township Volunteer Fire Department. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to say this to you. This building right here, where it's an antique place, that used to be the original location of Tiny Teaks. Tiny Teaks restaurant that's now in Bridgewater, that was their original location. There's Patterson Elementary School. The Hilltop Laundry is still here. They used to have the pizza place in this building here. Hilltop Laundry is still there. So because of the early residents of Patterson, as you can see from here, the 11th Street extension that goes down here, that goes down into Beaver Falls, the residents here had their livelihood pretty much in Beaver Falls, mostly agriculture in the early days, to textiles, to glass, china, and then steel eventually. And the contributions of Patterson Township are what you see here, especially in the Heights with the beautiful homes that people built. Prosperity did not lose its touch in this part of Beaver County. If you haven't been to Patterson Heights, you need to go. It's one of the nicer, it's probably one of the nicest places in Beaver County, there's no question about it. Come out here and check it out. You will not be disappointed. The history of this part of Beaver County should not go unnoticed. Consequently, this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope that you have a pleasant weekend. We're coming up on another weekend. Stay safe, stay enchanted, and until my next video, I do appreciate your feedback. Thank you for watching. I am done.